these every single day if you're over the age of 50. Hey, Sophie here. I am in my kitchen. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I am a board certified holistic nutritionist, and I take an entirely holistic approach to health and wellness, helping women over the age of 50 get into the best shape of their life and maintain it for years. This is my passion, and if you want to know more about my overall philosophy, which isn't just food, is every area of your life, very much so mindset, then check out a new masterclass that I've created. I'll link to it in the description below this video. All right, so let's get into it. Now, this is so important, this information, that I really recommend that you share it with every woman that you know who's over the age of 50. Obviously, subscribe to my channel, but share this, because this is information that every woman needs to know. And if you're a gentleman watching, you're welcome. I'm not leaving you out. It's just that most of the time I speak to women who are over the age of 50, and this is very specific to you, to everybody, but very specific. I'm going to speak to why it's specific to women over 50. So let's just get into it. So number one is lettuce. Okay, now, as you can see here, I've got all these beautiful different lettuces. So when we're talking about lettuces, try to branch out of your usual iceberg or romaine lettuce, because there are so many incredible lettuces available. You can go to stores, you can go to where you'll find even hydroponically grown lettuces. You can go to your local farmer's market. I always say try and source a local farmer, because you are going to get really interesting lettuces, often heirloom lettuces. But you want to look for different colors in your lettuces, like the reds, and I love the sort of curly lettuces. I love butter lettuce. This actually is a red butter lettuce, and so on. So really any kind of lettuce. Now, why is it so important that you eat lettuce every single day? Well, lettuce contains a very specific carbohydrate, which is very important for gut health and for healing leaky gut. And now, leaky gut and gut dysbiosis is very common in women over the age of 50, because when you go into menopause and your estrogen plummets, then your gut diversity decreases, and a healthy gut is a gut that has a lot of diversity in it. That's unfortunately just what happens post-menopause. So, ladies, we want to do everything that we can that is gut friendly to heal our gut, to eat what we need to feed those healthy microbes in our gut. And lettuce has a very specific carbohydrate that is not present in other greens. And that is why you want to eat lettuce every single day, no matter what, to help with gut diversity, to help repair leaky gut, and which is all part of it, is to create these short chain fatty acids. And when your gut creates these short chain fatty acids, they are beneficial for so many things, not just the gut healing, the leaky gut, etc., but also it's the gut-brain connection, the gut-brain axis as well, that is so, so important with these short chain fatty acids. This is what helps you regulate your appetite, feel better, improve your mood. All right, so every single day, make a huge big salad. You could have a salad for breakfast. Some of my clients do. Huge salad for lunch. You could, obviously, if you're with your evening meal, make a big side salad on the side and eat that first before you have your pasta or, your entree. Just be careful with your lettuces that you wash them really, really well. I just recommend filling a sink full of water. You could put a little bit of baking soda in there. You could put a little bit of vinegar in that, one or the other, not both, and swish it around. There's different arguments for both, but give it a really good swish. Dry it very, very well in a salad spinner, and then store it. I do prefer getting whole heads of lettuce rather than bagged lettuce. There are recalls with bagged lettuce, so I'm very careful about that. Another choice is hydroponic lettuce as well. So there you go. Oh, and one other little thing with lettuce is radicchio is sort of in the lettuce family, and I love radicchio. This beautiful dark purple color in any fruit or vegetable is the anthocyanins that are so rich in antioxidants. So this is highly anti-inflammatory, which is very much so what we want. Again, women over 50, we tend to start going a little bit more in the direction of having a lot more inflammation, systemic inflammation. And what I love about radicchio is its bitterness. And so it's really lovely if you pair it up with some of your other lettuces, and then you would throw something else in that salad that has sweetness to it as well. It could be chopped up apples, it could be persimmons, depending on the season. It could be some unsweetened dried cranberries or tart cherries. So it's a lovely play of flavors. Everything that I'm showing you, we want to enjoy our food. We want to love our food. It's not like, oh, I got to eat like a rabbit. It's like, no, I love eating these foods. Okay, the last thing that I want to say about the greens, particularly the lettuces, is when you have your salad, you really want to have some kind of fat with your salad, because that will help your body to absorb the nutrients in the greens. I don't recommend just dousing it in dressings and regular dressing and lots of oil, because that can be problematic too, particularly for those of you who are on a weight loss journey and trying to deal with getting rid of visceral fat, belly fat. So what I do recommend is you want whole fats. So you could put a little bit of avocado, you could sprinkle some hemp seeds, you can make a nut-based dressing. So something of that kind where you're using whole fats instead of just dousing it with oil, even if it's a healthy oil like olive oil. I do prefer these whole foods. And one of my favorite ones, whole fats, is hemp seeds. Okay, so that's number one. Number two is mushrooms. So you want to try to eat mushrooms every single day. They are so healthy. They have anti-cancer properties in them, immunomodulatory properties in them. So as we get older, obviously, I don't need to tell you, if you're in your 50s, 60s and 70s, we see people around us, unfortunately dropping like flies, getting all sorts of diagnoses. So again, my passion is, what can we eat that's not only enjoyable, that is going to lower our risk? And mushrooms is one of those. To me, it is just a must-eat food, if possible, every single day. Now, it doesn't matter what kind of mushroom you eat. So I love shiitake. They all have slightly different properties in them and very different flavors as well. So for instance, shiitake I like because it's quite a sort of chewy, meaty mushroom, and I like the flavor. So I very often use it in little stir fries. These I'm going to do just a really simple stir fry with some green beans, shiitake mushrooms, lots of garlic, lots of ginger. I tend to water saute and maybe a little onion, a little shallot. But you can just throw mushrooms in all sorts of things. If you don't really like the texture, which some people don't in mushrooms, and it can, again, be brown mushrooms, white mushrooms, I don't care what the mushroom is, just try to eat some kind of a mushroom every day. I prefer them to be cooked rather than raw. And you can sort of disguise it if you don't like the texture. Some people don't. So just get your regular brown or white mushrooms and pulse them in a food processor or chop them up really, really small. And then you can throw them in a chili. You can throw them in a marinara sauce, and it just sort of goes away. It actually gives it a really nice texture. But make sure you eat mushrooms. Now, there are lots of mushroom powders and teas and supplements and all that stuff you can buy, and some of it can be helpful. It tends to be very expensive, and for the most part, I really like to be food first when it comes to almost anything, because if you're getting it in its food form, you're not going to sort of overdo it. You're not going to get too much, and it's part of the whole food matrix if you eat it in its whole food. So for instance, some of the mushroom powder mixes might have a mushroom called chaga. There's all these medicinal mushrooms, which can be very high in oxalates. People freak out about oxalates, and we forget that there are certain foods, and chaga is one of them, that we do need to be careful. And if you're just making, chaga coffee or throwing those powder blends in your coffee, just be a little bit careful. I prefer whole mushrooms, much less expensive too. All right, food number 3, non-negotiable, sprouts, and specifically broccoli sprouts. To me, it is non-negotiable now. There are so many benefits. It is the sulforaphane, which is Not only does it boost your immune system, really it's anti-cancer compounds on steroids, basically. That's as simply as I can put it. And, women over 50, we are more susceptible now to breast cancer, which is, I think it's heart attack and then breast cancer are the top killers for women over 50. So ladies, just eat things that are going to lower your risk, okay? And broccoli sprouts is one of them. Now, you can do lots of different kinds of sprouts as well. There's alfalfa, there's radish sprouts, there's clover sprouts, I love all sprouts. And so eat your sprouts, but very, very particularly, you want to go for your broccoli sprouts. Now, you might think, well, how? So I sprout my own. I have them going all the time on my counter. This is my favorite little machine. I'll link to it underneath. I'm not affiliated with any of these brands, by the way. These are just things that I happen to like and really use and want to spread the word. This is called the Sprouting Company. And I've been sprouting for years, but this is a game changer, this little bundle. You get this. And they have very, very high quality sprouting seeds because it's all about the seeds that you use. They must be very, very high quality. They even have seeds that have even more sulforaphane in them than a regular broccoli seed. So highly, highly recommend. You can buy sprouts in little clamshells in the grocery store. If you do, you have to be very careful to pick the package up, look at the bottom that the sprouts haven't gone brown because they only really have a shelf life of about 2 or 3 days in the store. So just be careful about that. That's why I recommend sprouting your own at home. It's way less expensive as well. It's like $1 per serving if you do it at home. But if you can't, and you're gonna, buy them from the store, just be careful of those. Sometimes you see this like little furry tail when you turn the package over, or when you sprout your own and you think, oh, is that mold? But it's not. They have a little furry tail when they're ready to harvest, but it's just looking for ones that have just got a little bit brown. You just don't want that. But you don't have to worry too much about it. Food poisoning comes way more so from meat and chicken and things like that, and not so much from sprouts. Okay, and then finally, food number 4 is green tea. Now, you might think it's a beverage, but I tend to think of it as a food because I drink the whole leaf. I consume the whole leaf, which is in matcha tea, which is the whole green tea leaf ground up into a fine powder. It's become very ubiquitous now. You can get it at coffee shops, you can get it at Starbucks, a matcha latte around the world. But what I really recommend that you do is get matcha that's a very high quality matcha from Japan, because it's going to be cleaner, less, it's not going to have those contaminants. You want one that's 3rd or 4th party tested. So just be careful about where you source it from. This one is PK, which I like, or Peak, but there's other brands that I use as well. I don't just stick to one. I'm always trying different ones. Or you can just have your regular cup of green tea. I do recommend, if you're not having matcha and you're drinking regular, there are some tea bag blends that are okay, but you're going to tend to get a higher quality green tea, like Essentia tea, if it's a loose leaf tea. Now, first let's talk about health benefits. I could go on and on, but I'm just going to give you the highlights, the top line here. So, drinking 2 to 3 cups of green tea a day can reduce recurrence of breast cancer. For those who are breast cancer survivors, a lot of my clients are, by a whopping 53%. 53%. That is more than like a drug that would, if you had a drug that would be, here you go, you'll just go, yes, I'm going to take that with all the side effects. 53%. So, if you want to lower your risk and prevent recurrence, you really definitely want to be consuming 2 to 3 cups of green tea. The other thing is 2 to 3 cups of green tea a day. I think it saw a huge study was done recently that showed that it was a 49% reduction in symptoms of dementia and early Alzheimer's. And so for brain and breasts, you really, and many other things, weight loss as well, visceral fat loss, belly fat loss, you definitely want to be consuming 2 to 3 cups of green tea. I'd say at least 2 cups of green tea every single day. And I'll finish with this last tip. Little extra bonus tip here. is if you're making matcha latte, if you like matcha latte, which I really do, I make it with organic steamed soy milk, because that would be, if there was a fifth food in here that I would recommend for postmenopausal women or women over 50, it would be organic soy, because there's so many benefits there in breast cancer, lowering your risk of breast cancer, lowering your risk of breast cancer recurrence, diminishing symptoms, menopausal symptoms such as hot flashes, and that goes on and on. There's a lot of new, really conclusive research on that right now. So that's it. So those are the 4 foods. We've got lettuces, mushrooms, broccoli sprouts, and green tea. So please include these in your diet every single day if you're a woman over the age of 50. Please share this video with any woman you know, your mother, your friend, your sister, anybody. If you know somebody who's a breast cancer survivor, share it with them. People who have been through breast cancer treatments, as many of my clients have done, it's so not even talked about, diet as a form of prevention. After treatment, it's like, go away, you can kind of almost eat anything, which is so incredibly sad. So please share it with everybody you know. And again, there is a video, a class that I've created for you. Please watch it underneath this video, because I'm so passionate about the fact that food is just one of the 5 pillars that add to optimizing our health and wellness and happiness over the age of 50. I'll see you next time.